But the fact of the matter is, it's probably the exact opposite. Let me find the soundbite here that puts this in perspective. Hang on while I look at this. It won't take long here, folks. As I say, I'm having to compress everything. Here it is, number 10. Audio soundbite number 10. And this is Deep State ranking member Phil Mudd. He is a former intelligence official, now works as a commentator on CNN. Last night, Wolf Blitzer's show, The Situation Room. He's a counterterrorism center specialist, what he is. And Blitzer said, do you think that Mueller is preparing new indictments?
The really interesting part of this is a potential report, a draft report, a narrative, if you will, from Mueller going over Rosenstein. Let me play this out and watch it. Rosenstein gets a narrative that says not only this is what we found that might violate the law, this is my picture of what happened during the investigation. There's going to be some dirt in there. So in addition to the indictment, I really want to see what's in that narrative report.
Okay, so this is where this is going. The Mueller report is going to be full of supposedly horrible stuff Trump has done, none of which is probably going to be indictable, none of which is going to be impeachable. Although if the Democrats win the House, they're going to make moves in that direction anyway. But he says here, the important point of the Mueller report will be the dirt. The dirt, not the indictment. Which, there's nothing, unless they make it up. There never has been any Trump collusion, and there never has been any evidence, so unless they make it up. So the smart money is that it's going to be filled with things that are accusatory, that blame Trump's incompetence, ineptitude, essentially blame Trump for being so in over his head that it looked like the Russians had worked with him to steal the election, despite the fact that there isn't any hard evidence. It's hard to refute the idea. Going to make it look like Trump is in over his head, doesn't know what he's doing, threatens the country with his presidency because of his incompetence. That's what it's going to be. But let's take a look at an alternative view from Sidney Powell, whose work we have referenced many times on this program. She has written a book chronicling the deception and the abuse of power, the corruption in the Department of Justice, traced all the way back to the Enron task force. Many of the same lawyers here were working with Mueller. And her headline, she published this yesterday at the Daily Caller, Mueller's jig is up, but that's not enough. Meaning Trump still owes the country something here, despite the fact Mueller hasn't found anything. The Mueller witch hunt is effectively over, writes Ms. Powell, not because Mueller had not planned to drag this out until he could concoct a crime against Trump or a member of his family, but rather because the jig is up. Have you noticed how long it's been since anybody even suggested that the president sit down with the special counsel for an interview? Mueller's reason for existing was the outrageous, purposefully propagandized prevarication that the Trump campaign and even Trump himself colluded with Russia to rig the 2016 presidential election against Hillary Clinton. The Democrats who perpetrated this fraud are not only masters of projection and deception, they took their playbook of personal destruction to a whole new level. Talked about this whole thing with Hannity in the interview. The genuine outrageousness that this is, the literal criminal acts committed by Hillary Clinton and all of the people on her team, the Obama DOJ, the FBI, and none of that ever investigated. And the purpose of Mueller's investigation is to actually provide a cover for the real criminality that was going on. Ms. Powell writes that there is more evidence by the day that the Clinton cabal in and outside the government weaponized our most venerable law enforcement institutions and agencies, lied to our courts to destroy the political opposition. Enough evidence has been forcibly extracted through various sources to establish the actual crimes, conspiracy, fraud, obstruction of justice, Espionage Act violations were committed by Clinton and her campaign with the calculated help of cronies within the FBI, CIA, NSA, Obama White House, Department of Justice, state, the deep state and the silent coup. There is no doubt this is being run, and there's no doubt that it failed. But they're not through with it. Even though Mueller doesn't have anything, they're not through. They'll never be finished trying to get rid of Trump. Heaven knows that is not what Mueller and his Clinton-loving Kabbalah prosecutors wanted to find. They clearly avoided looking for the real criminal activity. But here's her next line is, President Trump holds all the cards right now. And here's why. The White House has seen enough of the actual documents to know the real conspirators were willing to destroy the Constitution and innocent lives to elect Hillary Clinton, protect Barack Obama, and destroy Donald Trump. As Congressman John Ratcliffe explained to Maria Bartiromo, these documents were classified only to protect the wrongdoers, not national security. Indeed, each time documents have been unredacted, we've seen even more evidence of egregious wrongdoing. Now, for the country to recover from this previously unfathomable cover-up of Clinton's crimes and the criminalization of our entire election process justice system, every person whose fingerprints appear on any of these crimes must be publicly exposed and held to account. The deliberate and subversive conduct of all these people involved were not only crimes against Trump, they were crimes against the Constitution, crimes against law enforcement, crimes against federal courts, crimes against every American, and crimes against the rule of law writ large. And that is why she's advocating again here for Trump to declassify every one of these documents for the sake of the American people. And I wholeheartedly agree he hasn't done it ostensibly to protect our allies, because the Brits and their intelligence people fingerprints are all over this. And it is extremely frustrating that the truth of this is right there to be seen, right there to be discovered. And all the president has to do is declassify it. And he can do it anytime he wants. Many people are hoping that that's something that will happen prior to the election. We'll just have to wait and see.
You're listening to Rush Limbaugh. Professional hosts do not attend on the EIB network. This is the Rush Limbaugh Show.
There is still a college in America where students can debate ideas openly and honestly, where they can work with their professors in respectful ways. It's Hillsdale College. Every student at Hillsdale lives by an honor code. And it's not a list of do's and don'ts, it's a simple pledge, and this is it. A Hillsdale College student is honorable in conduct, honest in word and deed, dutiful in study and service, and respectful of the rights of others. Through education, the student rises to self-government. That's it. Every incoming freshman commits to follow that code. And throughout their Hillsdale education, their character is built to be true and good. You don't find grievance lists, safe spaces, or identity politics. Hillsdale graduates go on to serve our country as teachers, doctors, stay-at-home moms, lawyers, journalists, and more. The excellent education they get produces proud, self-confident